Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at the movie, without spoilers, called The Courier, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Merab Ninidze. The movie is about a British salesman and a Russian source who happens to be the head of Committee of Scientific Research in the Soviet Union, and together they leak Soviet secret military information to US government to end the Cuban Missile Crisis. The movie was written by Tom O'Connor and directed by Dominic Cook. Let's start with the positives, and to be honest, I don't have anything strongly negative to say because overall it's a very solid, well-made movie. First of all, acting is great across the board. Bandicoot Thundersnatch is good as always. Gravel, his character, starts off as a comfort lover city boy who has never seen or wants to get into any kind of trouble. He's a salesman and that's all that matters. However, over the course of the movie, he slowly transforms into very literally a hero, a person who can sacrifice himself for others and for greater good. And that's a beautiful journey to witness. There's also a really touching scene at the end between Gravel and his wife. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil that moment for you, but that scene shows how powerful hope can be. And that's where Benedict's acting really shines. I loved Rachel Brosnahan in this movie. Emily, her character, holds a firm composure of a very strong and smart lady, and yet she doesn't act in an over-the-top manner like,
"Oh, look at me, I'm a strong woman in the sea of man. I am a normal person, and this is definitely how normal people talk."
But also she has this female warmness to her that she often uses quite well to make people believe or do things that she wants or help them open up and talk to her. You might say that she's just manipulating people and hence she is really good at her job, but because of her acting, you cannot help but feel that she is sincere. I love Jessie Buckley as Sheila too. Her voice, accent, and just simply her natural talent of acting. She's just joy to watch. And lastly, I gotta talk about Merab, who portrays Oleg Petrovsky. Full disclosure, I'm Georgian and he's Georgian, and it doesn't happen quite often that a Georgian actor plays next to a Hollywood star in the leading role. I'm glad he handled the role really well. At times he even reminded me of Joe Pesci with his confidence on the screen. There was a pretty good dynamic going on between him and Benedict's character too, so I'm truly happy for him. Music is pretty good, reminded me of Dmitri Shostakovich's Waltz No. 2. Pacing of the story is great. It never dwells, constantly moves forward and never loses viewers' attention. There are tense situations, joyful beats, heartfelt and somber moments. It never gets boring. It isn't as complex as one might expect from a real-life political spy drama, but it goes deep enough to be engaging. The message of the movie is also really good and really optimistic, hopeful and heroic that even as little as just two people hold enough power to change the course of history. In terms of negatives, as I said, the movie is really solid, so I don't want to go into nitpicking and I'll only mention two of my biggest gripes with The Courier. First, the movie lacks depth and is quite surface level in terms of portraying how complex the political conflict really was, where Soviet Union is depicted as Orwellian dystopia, while England is full of life, drinking, blinding lights and music. I mean, Soviet Union was never a beautiful place to live, and I know this because my parents spent half of their lives in that regime, but still this kind of portrayal helps the movie's intentions and themes. There was one moment where a Russian character says, "Well, US put their rockets in Turkey aimed at us, but if we put ours in Cuba in response, that's wrong, so how fair is that?" And I was like, that's interesting. Let's discuss that. But the movie was like, nope, let's move on. And this leads to my last big gripe I have with The Courier. Everything is there. Music, acting, interesting story, but the movie never tries to go beyond good, to become great. Certain scenes and sequences were quite predictable and by the numbers. I still felt the emotion the director tried to convey, but I knew exactly what was gonna happen. It leaves a feeling of Hollywoodization of a complex real-life story, but at the end, the message is nice and it's not as stylized as other Hollywood based on true events movies. And this leaves me with the final score. I'd give this movie, and bear in mind that I have reserved a 10 for a perfect movie, so basically my scale is from 1 to 9. So I would give this movie a solid 6.5 or 7, 6.5 probably, basically out of 9. A solid movie that's easy to recommend. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I generally wouldn't bother you with standard YouTube annoying phrases like please hit the like button and subscribe, but at these early stages of this channel, your support would mean a lot. Thank you, and until the next review, that's probably going to be Cruella. See ya.
Maybe we're only two people, but this is how things change.